Alright, what's up family? This is Scott here with the second installment of the Boochn series. In the first episode, I taught you guys how to make the healthiest SCOBY ever. Check these guys out. Once you have your nice SCOBY, that's a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. SCOBY! Once you have that, you're in the game. Like I said before, you can buy your SCOBYs online, you can have a friend give you one, but I find when you make the SCOBY yourself, you grew it, you put a little intention into it, it's just gonna be better for you. You feed the SCOBY, it's your baby. If it's yours, you're gonna treat it better. It's just a little sentimental thing. Got a little spot in my heart for my SCOBY. So in this second installment, I'm gonna teach you guys how to brew the tea and throw the SCOBY in there, ferment it. It's the main step. All the steps are important, but this one is where you're gonna get that perfect flavor that you're looking for. Not too sweet, not too bitter. We're gonna take those SCOBYs out, clean the glass jar really good. We're gonna use the same glass jar for fermentation. So a real quick rundown. I'm gonna boil some water, steep some tea, and then when the water's still warm, throw your sugar in there. And then once that dissolves, you're gonna pour room temperature or cold water into it to cool down the liquid so you don't have to wait an hour for it to come down. And then you're gonna put that in your jar, put a few ounces of starter tea, just any kind of kombucha, and stir that. Already got the sugar in there, and then plop the SCOBY on top, put a t-shirt material over the top and a rubber band and let it sit for 10 days. And then you almost have kombucha. It's as easy as that. So let's do it, guys. You can see here I have 3 separate pans because I'm doing 3 gallons. I'm just gonna show pretty much the steps for one though, instead of doing everything 3 times, but like I said, I'm doing 3. You're gonna start off with pouring 64 ounces of water. 128 ounces is a gallon, so we're gonna do half that, 64 ounces. Get that stuff boiling. I used to only use tea bags right when I started brewing kombucha. Most people do. You think it's easier, but it actually creates more waste, and I think the tea you get in loose leaf is just a much higher quality. So I actually weighed out tea bags, so all tea bags generally are 2 grams of tea a piece. So to get 15 or 16 grams of tea, you would have to use 8 tea bags, and that's annoying. If you have a strainer and loose leaf tea, you don't need a scale. Like I said, a tablespoon is about 2 grams, so 8 tablespoons of loose leaf tea will pretty much do the trick. But if you're using tea bags, it's 8 tea bags per gallon. Okay, it's almost boiling. You can either bring it up to a boil, turn it off, and let it sit and chill out, and then put the tea bags in, or you can turn it off before it starts boiling. The main point is boiling water makes the tea a little bitter. It kind of burns it, it shocks it. If here's the boiling temperature, you want it right here. So it's kind of almost bubbling, so I'm gonna turn these guys off. So now that the water is the perfect temperature, I'm gonna add my tea. The 2 on the right, I'm just doing black tea, 15 grams, 15 grams, and the 1 on the left, you can see it's more green, so there's green tea, yerba mate, 4 grams of each, and I already have 8 grams of black tea in that pot, so it's gonna be 16 grams total. I'm gonna throw the timer on. 3 minutes and 33 seconds. Okay, so while it's steeping, you're gonna stir it a couple times. It's just good to help release the oils from the tea or whatever. It's just fun to stir it. I don't know. So stir, 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 stir. Yep, get all the mojo flowing. And you're gonna bust out your pitcher and strainer and strain out all that tea matter after 3 minutes and 33 seconds before you add the sugar. So you can see it straining, good to go. Pour it back in the pot, add that sugar, you're good to go. The solution is still hot, so the sugar should melt pretty fast. I like to give them all a stir for about 15 seconds. Let it hang out for a minute, stir it again, and then by that time usually the sugar's all dissolved. And then I let it sit for about 15 minutes, then put it in the glass jar. It's gonna come up to about here. And then I'm gonna add cold or room temperature water and fill it up to here so it's a full gallon. And test the temperature and don't add the SCOBY or starter tea until the whole solution is room temperature. If it's too hot, it'll kill the good bacteria. Give it one last stir. It's been dissolving for a minute, so it should be good, ready to add to the jar with the cool water and the SCOBY. So for the final step, it's lukewarm, so after we add the cool or room temperature water, it should even it all out. And then starter tea, then SCOBY, t-shirt, rubber band, done deal, let's do it. Pitcher, very, very handy. So here's my little trick so I don't have to wait 2 hours for the tea to cool down before I add the SCOBY. Just use the other half gallon room temperature or cold water, add it to the 64 ounces of brewed tea, and hey, it's room temperature and eye level it, yep, room for the SCOBY. We're gonna go ahead and do 1 cup of starter tea. Everybody says a different amount, but hey, it really doesn't matter. As long as there's some, you don't even need any. So I'm stirring it up, getting that starter tea all mixed in there. The sugar is already dissolved. And it should be room temperature after we did that. So finger test, room temperature, perfect. Okay, I'm sure you've heard the term, drop it like it's hot. Well, we're gonna drop it like it's room temperature because we're not trying to commit any SCOBY homicide up in here. We're just trying to make some beautiful kombucha. So drop it like it's room temperature, then cover it with t-shirts, paper towels, rubber bands, whatever. T-shirts are the best, trust me. All right, threw the t-shirts on there. Rubber bands, got the tea, starter tea, SCOBY. It's all set up. Just put it in the cabinet, closet, dark place. Fermentation likes dark, doesn't like light. So the third part, we're gonna do the second fermentation, which is not necessary, but if you wanna add fruit or flavor it up, which I like to do, it is necessary. So that's what we're gonna do next time, and then bottling, and then the high alcoholic kombucha. All right, until next time guys, keep it fresh family. I love ya.